Alrighty. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Justin Lerman. Today we're going to be talking about the effects of virtual mentoring sessions on K through 12 students in core subjects. I know I'm not a K through 12 guy, but I am actually doing some K through 12 stuff over here and bashing the arts a little bit. Anyways,
really?
no.
Bashing or promoting it?
We'll see, right? So the problem that we have here is having university students travel to one of the lowest performing schools in Florida to mentor at-risk students is nearly impossible due to the elementary school's proximity to UNF for any higher education institute. So it's actually an elementary school in Palatka, and they're pretty far from UNF or any higher education institute. We want to do some mentoring with that school. So there's little to no research on virtual leadership mentoring as well. The purpose of the proposed study is to measure the effects of virtual leadership mentoring sessions on K-12 students in regards to GPA, attendance, and school suspensions. So I wanted to find out what effects the virtual leadership mentoring sessions have on at-risk K-12 students in core subjects. And at-risk really just means here students that need that extra push and be taken out, given extra time, mentoring, those kinds of things. So my theoretical framework was actually really easy to get because I'm doing a presentation with Dr. Olson on Camp Osprey, and they already had a nice theoretical framework that I could use. So the theoretical framework for Camp Osprey is really a distance learning and mentoring theory. So distance learning defined as two-way educational exchange between students and teacher through technological means. And then there are a lot of mentoring frameworks. So there's no universal definition. So just to make it easy to understand this paper, what I'm going to go with is as an interpersonal exchange between a more experienced individual, that mentor, and a less experienced individual, the protege or the mentee. Characterized by guidance, feedback, and support from mentor to protege for career-related and psychosocial development. So that psychosocial development, the functions include motivation, counseling, acceptance, confirmation, role modeling, and personal friendship. So what's funny over here?
Wait, you cited me.
Did I?
No, I didn't.
I was like, what? Hilarious. And then we have over here role modeling. I was like really surprised. I was like, did I? You're that, wow. Role modeling, sometimes looked at as a third function, is usually recognized as a component of the psychosocial function. So that is my framework in a nutshell, what I'm using here. When I was doing my literature review, there is hardly any, if at all, there's one or two articles on virtual leadership mentoring. There's a lot of information out there on mentoring. There's no shortage of that, but hardly anything on virtual. So this is actually going to be pretty cool because I'm going to be adding information to something that there's really no information about, which is the reason I actually moved away from that course templating issue. You guys remember that? There's way too much. Course templates work. You can't dispute it. So now I found something that I like that there's not a lot of research about. So these people right here, these guys over here, they conducted some mentoring research, and they concluded that mentoring does work and can lead to increased GPA and the amount of days students attend school. However, their mentoring research was conducted in that face-to-face environment. Like I said, it's not possible really to find the virtual mentoring literature because it doesn't exist yet until I create it. They found that if mentors were able to make a connection with the mentee, mentees showed a decrease in drug use, as well as an improvement in peer and parent relationships. So just forming that bond with the student, getting them to trust them, giving them good advice, sitting with them. Sometimes these students don't have that, coach or mentor in their life, and when they do get it, they, show drastic improvements. Building classroom community and online classes has also been known to increase student retention. So that's a little bit coming back from that course templating stuff that I used to talk about. But this classroom community and building it is what keeps students in the class, and especially in an online class. When the student feels like they're part of something, that other people care about them, if the teacher, talks to them in a discussion forum and it's not just a copied and pasted response and they feel like they're actually being engaged, that's what gets the student to stay in the class and increases retention rates. So by using classroom community and virtual mentoring and creating that bond, we're hopefully going to see the same kinds of results that we see in a face-to-face mentoring session that we would in a virtual mentoring session. Cool. So methodology. Mentors meet virtually with students for 1 hour every week. Students are taken out of resource classes like art, who needs that, and in order to attend the virtual leadership mentoring sessions. So this design compares 23 students' GPAs, suspensions, and school days missed from the previous year with the year of virtual leadership mentoring. So it is 2 years of data, which is pretty cool. But later on, I'm going to talk about how we can extend that, hopefully make it a little bit longer. The students that ran the mentoring sessions were enrolled in an undergraduate mentoring course. So Dr. Olson's course, actually, he has the students in his course. They get to select if they want to do a face-to-face mentoring session or a virtual mentoring session. So he has one group doing the virtual mentoring. So they come in, they prepare everything. They know exactly what's going to be said in the mentoring sessions. They talk to each other, and then once the actual mentoring happens, there's a cart in the room that they pull up. It's got a motorized camera on it. It's pretty cool. Whoever's talking, it goes to and pans to, and you can do a full group. It's pretty cool. They can also share their screens and do all this other stuff. So the mentoring that's actually happening in this is a group mentoring. So it's not one-on-one mentoring. So there'll be I think it's like 7 students at a time meeting with the students in Dr. Olson's class, which is pretty cool, but it can also be really hard to do. Because if you've ever been in an online, synchronous session and using the talk button and not knowing when to talk and trying to line all those things up can be a challenge. So yeah, the mentoring sessions range from information about making smart decisions to listening to motivational speakers. They even got the UNS basketball coach, Driscoll, to come and talk. They had some other people come and talk to the students. And they do a lot of group discussions. They have the students on there and talk about it, together, and then they can come back and talk about it. The students took part in group work and received homework assignments from mentors. At the end of the virtual mentoring program, the 23 students that partook in virtual mentoring took a field trip to the University of North Florida. So they actually came here at the end of the year after they were done doing all the virtual mentoring. That was really done for a couple of reasons to solidify that mentoring relationship. They got some face-to-face time with them. They also got a tour of the university. They got to eat in the dining hall. And these are elementary school students, so they're like freaking out, right? Oh my God, all you can eat. You're trying to eat.
Challenge accepted.
Exactly right. So it's pretty cool. When they came here, they also get swanky new clothes with university branding. They feel like they're ready to go to university, and this is something that they're going to want to do hopefully in the future. So maybe selling that brand. So participation selection as a sample is a convenient sample, definitely a convenient sample of 23 elementary school students. Students must have attended the elementary school for at least 2 years in order to be included in the study. Any student that left the school halfway through the year was just excluded to come out. Only students participated in Osprey Camp are included in the study, and there's no other exclusion criteria. One of the biggest challenges, before I go over that, I'm just going to look at the limitations here. One of the biggest challenges is creating interpersonal chemistry between Camp Osprey mentors and elementary school students. I talked about that a little bit. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of online, virtual, but that face-to-face time can be really hard to mimic in a virtual environment. So that was definitely one of the limitations here. Building trust and cohesion amongst mentors and mentees is challenging without that face-to-face interaction. Establishing a speaker's lineup, content, engaging delivery techniques is also demanding. It takes a lot more time than teaching in a face-to-face environment. A lot of people think if you're going to teach online, oh, it's so easy, it's not going to take a long time. But if you actually do it right, it's way more work than a face-to-face class, way more work, because you can't just talk to your students and tell them you have to type everything out in a discussion board. You have to go back and forth with them. So lack of control over students in classroom experience as well. So that was a limitation, as when the students were in 3rd grade and when they were in 4th grade, they had different teachers. So that's going to definitely possibly impact, their GPAs. It's going to There's a lot of, maturity levels from the 3rd and 4th grade. It could also impact their GPAs, school days missed, those kinds of things. So there is a lot of variables going on around here. So the results, the elementary school is located at a public institution in the southeastern United States. So what effect do virtual leadership mentoring sessions have on at-risk K-12 students? So I used a paired sample t-test. And what I use that because I wanted to compare, the 3rd grade to the 4th grade. So after students received the year of virtual mentoring, their GPAs went up 0.066 points over here. You can see it. Students missed a total of 1.776 less days in school compared to the prior year, and students had almost 1 entire day less of suspensions, equaling 0.0869. So the results, the p-value for the results was less than 0.05, making the data significant. Discussion. Woot, woot, it works, yay! Sort of, I hope. It says that it works, right? But it seems to me there's a lot of variables still, and it's hard to say that this data is conclusive. Experiences such as Osprey Camp not only provide mentees with positive experiences, but they also provide universities with engaging in-classroom experience for mentors. So going back to that classroom community, engaging your students, not only is it engaging the elementary students, but we're also doing a really good job of engaging the higher ed students and getting them involved in community outreach a little bit here. Alan found that one way universities can increase retention rates is through student engagement, so what I just said. Community outreach, and then point of reference for study. Bam, there's not a lot of information about this, so this is a good jumping spot if anyone wants to do any kind of virtual mentor leadership. This is going to be a pretty cool study that people will be able to go back to and look at. Yeah, Brandon it. Future research, limit study variables, again, talked about that already. Larger sample size over a longer period of time. That seems like something that everyone in this room wants to do. Make sure that students are receiving all the positive impacts mentoring can offer. Making sure that, just because that the face-to-face environment, we say that mentoring works, we want to make sure that, we're still meeting the students' needs in a virtual space. So Camp Osprey serves as a prime example of how higher education and elementary schools can partner. Face-to-face mentoring experiences are not always possible due to geographical and budgetary constraints, and low-cost initiatives such as Osprey. Camp Osprey can offer all students involved a positive community learning experience.